More now on the political changing of the guard in Japan after Prime Minister Suga's decision to step down. We're joined by Professor Tomohiko Taniguchi from Keio University. He was also the special advisor to former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's cabinet. Professor Taniguchi, Mr Suga was under a lot of pressure, but was his decision to resign expected?
Totally out of the blue. A lot of people just got so much amazed and astonished by the announcement that Suga made earlier today.
Well, Mr. Suga was only in the job for a year. That's not very long at all. What is his report card like to you?
History will be kinder. We're all short-termists. We are focusing much attention on perceptions. But some of the achievements that Suga has done will be long remembered. The pledge to achieve carbon neutral and more robust stance towards China, and the commitment in helping boost Japanese young generation's morale by providing more support to the younger generation. So those are the things that Suga is committed to achieving. But he's faced with two very much important contests ahead. One internal, intra-party election to choose leadership, and another general elections that are due sometime in October or November. And young backbenchers within his own party of LDP started to argue that they wish to have a more cheerful leader. You know, that's a cruel reality. And Mr. Suga has been a victim of that growing perception.
Professor Taniguchi, the ruling party wanted to promote stability and continuity with his election. Is the situation very different now at all?
The changes are gaining a pace, and the changes that have occurred over the last week and 2 weeks probably are faster and more substantial than many well-informed pundits within the Tokyo's political section anticipated. For instance, there was a loss of a mayoral election in his own constituency in a place called Yokohama, which is next to Tokyo. And this morning, the prefecture that covers the city, called Kanagawa, has its own group of LDP local leaders, one of whom voiced concerns about the looming elections in November. I think those are the things that Yoshihide Suga paid attention to.
And with that in mind, then, who are the frontrunners in the race to become Japan's next prime minister?
I wish I could say clearly to your question that these are the front runners, but there's only one LDP politician that has announced that he would stand up for the leadership election. There will be more, 5, 6, or 7 even, and the next couple of weeks will be very much hectic, for that matter, for the LDP politicians to choose sides among those politicians.
And whoever his successor is, that person's going to face the same COVID crisis and other challenges that cut his time short, perhaps, in office. What will be their priorities, though?
COVID-19, I think that's something that I have to say. The death toll is the lowest. Japanese case represents the best performer within G7. Nonetheless, perception has been very much worked to not to his favor. Now, the biggest challenge for the next prime minister is to continue the longevity, because the Japanese economic illness takes long cure. So does COVID-19, and the external environment is not kind. And all this demands that the Japanese leader has to stay for a long time. Shinzo Abe stayed in power for 8 years and 8 months. That's the longest record in Japanese modern history. Maybe it's not something that the next leader could achieve, but nonetheless, she should stay longer than a year.
Professor Taniguchi, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us this evening. Professor Tomohiko Taniguchi, Special Advisor to former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's cabinet.